If you're watching this video, you have probably realized how damn difficult it has become to book qualified calls as an online coach in 2025. And it's no wonder, because it seems like there are thousands of new coaches and scammers emerging out of seemingly nowhere every single day. They make the market fiercely competitive and also decrease trust in online service providers, understandably so. Whereas a couple of years ago, you could just post a few client wins here and there and leads would essentially jump to work with you. Nowadays, buyers need a lot more than that to be convinced that paying you is actually a good idea. And adding to the decreasing consumer trust, the rise of AI is also rapidly commoditizing the very information you have spent all your life studying. So, in simple terms, the life of the majority of online coaches in 2025 is by no means a fairy tale. It's actually a fight for survival, a very brutal fight, I might add. So why do you, as an online coach and consultant, if you are that person, and I hope you are if you're watching this video, so why do you and so many others still keep going? It's very simple, because you see what's possible. You see how the biggest names in the space are making millions of dollars every single month, every single year, and they are absolutely scaling like hell. If you take a look at this guy over here, an online coach coaching fitness coaches on how to start their brand, 400k a month. A random guy over here with a smash Lamborghini scaling brands, he's making 400k a month. Then you see this dude over here in front of a whiteboard, and he has made over 20 million and is living in Dubai. Then this dude over here, no one knows him. I'm sure that this is the first time you're seeing him. He's made over 100 million. And then another completely unknown dude that probably no one knows about. He has made essentially an infinite number of sales in the online coaching space, considering how long he's been around. I mean, again, like no one knows him, but he's making a shit ton of money. So, and you know, you see all of these Stripe screenshots, right? I mean, these are from my clients, but you see these Stripe screenshots over here, like 30K, 24K, 17K, 40K. You see all of these coaching funnels and you're like, how are these guys doing it? It seems so simple, right? So in this video, I'll do my absolute best to help you understand what separates the 1% winning in 2025 from the 99% banging their head against the wall in frustration. Because you don't want to be that guy, right? It's very frustrating, it's a very depressing life. And by the way, it's not sheer volume of content. Although these guys are posting a lot, it's not sheer volume. And it's also not some magic funnel that will convert 100% of your leads, and it's definitely not a manipulative sales tactic that helps you rip people off. And although there are a lot of scammers emerging in this market, this is not what we're going to do in this video. So the most successful online coaches don't just create a valuable content and set up complicated funnels, they shift identities. They create their own qualified leads. And this is exactly the topic that I'll be going into over here. But before I do that, why can I even open my mouth about this topic? Why can I talk about this? So this is on my YouTube channel. You will see all of my client case study testimonials on here, because my name is David Andreas Müller and I help online coaches and consultants start and scale their coaching business. And in doing so, I have generated multiple six figures for my clients and have analyzed over 300 to 400 funnels of the best online coaches in 2025. And although that took me a lot of time, I've drawn some insanely valuable conclusions from analyzing all those funnels and helping all of these people scale. And by the way, if you're an online coach and you want to implement the strategies that I'm talking about in this video, then you can go to the description and book a one-on-one call with me. I don't pitch people, we literally just go over your system, analyze things, how we can improve it, and then we can take it from there. First, let's look at a couple people who have absolutely mastered the art of shifting identities and not just creating valuable content or setting up complicated funnels, but actually creating a new identity for their viewer. The first one will be Robert Oliver over here, then going to Sam Millsap, then to Charlie Morgan, and then to the one and only Andy Elliott. And however polarizing these figures are, that's exactly what you need to be playing their game. So let's take a look first at Rob the Bank over here, because his Instagram is actually filled with content that is transforming beliefs. You can see that he's helping people with e-com, right? For example, on TikTok Shop over here, that's one of his core offers. But if you go to his reels, he's not actually talking about money making, right? He's talking about relationships, like over here.
If you haven't mastered your edge, you want a woman who's gentle, grounded, feminine.
Okay, what woman do you want? It's not very related to ecom, right? He's talking about
silence is seductive when your energy is expensive. A loud man is still trying to be seen, but a quiet man...
And the point here is not to sell people on stuff. The point here is to sell people an identity, like who do they have to become in order to buy from Robert over here? Who does his audience need to become? His audience needs to become someone with a growth mindset, right? Someone who believes in change, who believes in bettering themselves, who believes in investing in themselves, like over here.
Casual sex is one of the biggest scams.
Like someone who is not just wasting their life away, like loving themselves.
Most guys who date women that they aren't attracted to aren't doing it.
Like he's talking about seemingly random stuff, but what he's doing here is actually selling people an identity of a person who is investing in themselves, hardworking, and is a respectable human being. Then you go to Sam Millsap over here, right? It's the same thing. So he is a consultant for online coaches, and what he does over here, he's selling the lifestyle, right? He's selling this one over here. So God first, work hard, do everything for you and your family, not for validation, right? So he is selling you an identity of who you have to become in order that you will eventually also buy from him. Because this type of person, someone who puts God first, who works hard and does everything that is necessary, will be a person that is more likely to buy from Sam over here. So he is first selling them an identity. Then you can go to Charlie Morgan over here, right? Charlie, great example of this. He's telling people how to become a person who is able to become rich even, right? So dopamine transfer, how he's using these weird brain tactics, his neurohacking type of things to make himself more productive. It's obviously transformative over there. And then everyone knows, I guess everyone knows, or like a lot of people know, Andy Elliott over here, who has an absolutely electric aura, I have to say. And he is also selling you an identity, right? Like, who do you have to become? You have to be hard, you have to be...
Paycheck. It's not at least 100 grand a month, you got work to do.
There you go. If it's not at least 100 grand a month, you got work to do. That's an identity, right? He's selling you on the idea of you need to be rich in order to provide, to be the guy that you always wanted to become. So having reviewed these people, right? So everyone here is selling you an identity, selling you a persona. They are not actually filtering their leads. They're not actually speaking to people who want to already make 100 grand a month. No. They are creating their own qualified leads, right? They have this very normal traffic over here, just random people going on Instagram, and they are selling the identity to them. Then they become, let's say, 20% qualified because now they have the identity, but they are still not sold on the thing that they are selling, right? Then they are selling them the opportunity. So for example, Andy Elliott is selling people the opportunity of sales. Charlie Morgan is selling people the opportunity of SMMA. Then you can see Samuel Millsap is selling people the opportunity of becoming an online coach. And Rob the Bank is selling people the idea that it has never been easier to go viral on TikTok and sell an e-com product and absolutely bank in on that, right? So they are selling the opportunity. Then, once people are 80% qualified, let's say that they still don't have the necessary cash to go forward with the investment. Then they are not only selling them on their own process, but also helping people get the cash to invest in their program. You see, a lot of people overlook this, a lot of online coaches overlook this, but you can actually help your audience get the necessary investment, the necessary funds to invest in your coaching. So what Rob the Bank does, he offers people a low ticket community in which he teaches them how to get their first 10K. And once they have their first 10K, then they can invest with him in his higher ticket coaching. Then this is the same with Sam over here. If someone does not have their first 6, 7K or however much his program is, he helps them get there. Then Andy Elliott, it's the exact same thing, right? So with his free content, he allows people to get an identity, which will then allow them to make the necessary funds that they can then invest in his program later on. So again, in essence, they are creating their qualified leads instead of waiting for them. So instead of just taking these people who are already qualified, they are actually pushing people from a random traffic 0% qualified to selling them the identity, selling them the opportunity, and then selling them their own process. And they are making people qualified, right? They are transforming beliefs, they're transforming people over here. So the way that this typically happens is, I like to look at it as a vortex, as this spiral. These people will first speak to a deep personal pain of their audience, sell them an identity, tell them their own story / an anecdote, then interpret that story, sell them the opportunity that they see, may it be sales, e-com, online coaching, whatever it is, then present their own process as a solution and sell their own process and help people get there. So they're essentially drawing people in with their top of funnel Instagram and YouTube content, selling them the identity, then they are taking them down in the spiral and all the way to handing them money down there. Okay, but how do you as an online coach actually use this for yourself? So how do you implement selling an identity, selling the opportunity, and then selling your own process? How do you do that? First, you have to answer these two questions. Who does a person have to become in order to buy from you? Like, who are they? What do they believe? What's their worldview? What do they hate? What do they love? And you don't necessarily have to speak to people who already have these attributes. You just have to sell them this identity. And then you have to identify what are most people's latent conditions and beliefs which will prevent them from becoming the person that would buy from you. Maybe they're limiting beliefs around money. Maybe they have never invested in themselves. Maybe they don't value themselves. Maybe they are fine being stuck at 3 to 5K a month, right? Like, who did they actually have to become in order to buy from you, and what is keeping them from becoming that? And then you can speak to this in your content. And step 2, you have to sell the opportunity. So what is the benefit of the transformation? Like, when it comes to sales, what are you able to do once you are great in sales? Like, what is the benefit of being great in sales? What is the benefit of being a good online coach? What is the benefit of being good in e-commerce, right? Like, all of these people are sharing their cars, their lifestyles, their happiness, their fulfillment, and everything that surrounds that. And they are selling you the opportunity of following their footsteps. And then step 3 is very easy, because then you are just selling your own process. So you are portraying your own process in a way in which it is the most effective way of gaining the transformation of this one over here. So first they sell an identity, then the opportunity, and then their own process. A lot of people actually sell their own process first, and this is a common mistake, because they go to the market just proclaiming that, hey, this is my process. But they have not made sure that their audience has the appropriate identity to even become the person that you are promising them to become. So they may not even recognize that they want what you are selling them. And maybe they are not convinced of the opportunity. Like, let's say with sales, right? Like, a lot of people might have a negative impression on sales because they have only spoken to slimy salesmen. So you have to convince them that it's a good thing to do, that sales is great and it has good benefits, and you are not a slimy salesman, but you can be an absolute professional who is actually helping people, right? And a lot of people make this mistake, so don't sell your own process before making sure that you have sold the identity and you have sold the opportunity. If this video has been helpful so far and you would like to go over step by step how this can also be implemented for you, for your niche and offer specifically, then again, in the description you can book a one-on-one call with me, and then we can go over everything in detail. Now let me walk you through a really great case study over here, which is Vin Jiang. He's a communications teacher, so he helps people how to communicate more effectively, not only in their personal life but also in their professional life. So he has a funnel, which is the free course funnel over here. And in his content, he's selling an identity, right? He has top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content, in which in the first one, he just has relatable moments, like talking on stage, where's this real life, watching this TV show, and also, does your voice shake when you get nervous, right? A very relatable hook. Then he's leading people down to his middle of funnel content, which is giving strategic tips for people, like how do you vary your rate of speech? What is your vocal image? And then he has his bottom of funnel content, which is giving people like a call to action to the next step. But coming from his content, he's selling the opportunity in his free course. So he's selling the opportunity by going into depth on what your communication style and your lack of communication ability is costing you and what it could allow you to do in life, right? You could get pay raises, you could actually make more money. You could have deeper connections with the people around you. These are very, very impactful things that Vin is speaking to over here. And then at the end of that, he's selling his own process. So once you are actually convinced that communication is actually holding you back in your life, and if you were to master it, it would unlock so many new things personally, professionally, and give you a significant advantage in your life, then he sells his own process. He's telling you about how to change your communication to get lasting results in your life. This is leading you to his paid course, which is about $1,000. Now you might say to me that all of these case studies are very cool and they look awesome, but how do you actually implement this in your own content, in your own funnel, and in your own system just in general? How do you create an ecosystem that uses shifting identities and creating qualified leads and without just copying these people? So for that, I have created a full video over there. I will be linking this in the description of this video. Just go there. It's the most valuable funnel training you will ever watch. I can guarantee you that. So go watch that video next, and I'll meet you there.